we have none other than, he goes by The Hawk, and he's representing his Weekly Streamer Dynasty baseball podcast. You can find anywhere you listen to podcasts. He's covering all kinds of stuff when it comes to minor league prospects and things like that. But above everything else, he is a Mets fan. And, you know, Mr. Brown, he is our resident Braves fan. So this ought to be interesting. I can't talk. I'm stumbling over myself already. But either way, we're glad to have him on the show. Welcome to the show, Hawk. How you doing, brother?
Man, what's going on, guys? You guys are rocking and rolling there. I'm loving the pictures in the background here.
You see the man cave. You know, there's a lot of sweat equity that went into this.
We don't know sports studios, baby.
That's how we
Love
do it,
man. Love it. Let's go.
So, man, we're so glad you decided to come on the show. And you know, we're going to get into some of the stuff about your podcast because I got some questions definitely when it comes to the farm systems and prospects and things like that. But how are you a Mets fan, man? Like, what made you decide to join them and not the evil empire?
Well, man, whenever I was born, I just wanted to be sad for the rest of my life. So I just decided to go ahead and hop on the sad bandwagon. No, I'm originally from New Jersey. Grew up a Mets fan. Family still lives up there. Try to go to as many games as possible. I guess as any Mets fan can, you try to have an optimistic view in life. So that's what I'm trying to do, is stay positive and find the positives that are in here. 2021 should be pretty darn good, though.
I mean, I like the optimism, and the Mets have gone out of their way to try to make some moves here. So let's just get right to it. How are you feeling about the upcoming season? What are your prognostication for your lovely Mets here?
Oh, man. I mean, whenever you end up having Steve Cohen come in and get rid of those Wilpons, that was a Christmas gift that just was wonderful. That was long overdue. Glad that it happened. The moves that him and Sandy Alderson has been able to make has just been absolutely fantastic, and you can see it on the field. I mean, they've been able to get, you know, key free agents this offseason in Jonathan VR. You've been able to get Taijuan Walker, you know, James McCann. You can't beat it, man.
You didn't even mention the trades being made here and bringing Lindor in.
Yeah, bringing Lindor in and Carlos Carrasco, man, you can't beat it. And yeah, giving up Ahmad Rosario and Andres Jimenez along with, you know, Wolf and Isaiah Green, it stings a little bit, but you're getting such a high quality shortstop option that you just can't turn that down, man. And you know, I tried to go back and think about, you know, in the last, 10, 15 years or so, you know, thinking about shortstop options that have been with the Mets, it's been an Achilles heel since we had Jose Reyes.
That's absolutely true.
So, Mr. Brown, how do you feel about the Mets this year?
I mean, I like all the moves they've did. I mean, it's good enough for second place in the East. I mean, that's I appreciate the effort, you know. It is what it is.
All right, so Mr. Brown's already throwing shade here. So what are your prognostications on the upcoming season? How exactly do you think the Mets are going to do?
I mean, I think that the Mets are going to be pushing for a wild card spot. If not a wild card spot, I think they're taking the division, because your Braves, although they are very good on paper, very young in a lot of different ways, they wanted to go with the geriatric patient in Charlie Morton this year, and hopefully he has some fuel still left in the tank. I tend to doubt it. So we'll see how that plays out. It worked so well with Cole Hamels last year. You know, Mike Soroka with his new Achilles tendon. That's wonderful. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to bash on the Braves. Anyway.
Okay, you can. It's fine.
Mets should be doing it. I think that they
So listen. Charlie Morton, yeah, I got you. He's our number 4 starter. So get the hell out of here. And Anderson, 0.92 ERA, and he's still in the top 100 rookie list in all of baseball, and he's number 18 overall. He didn't even qualify, but he showed you what his changeup's made of, and he's our number 3 starter, and Morton might be 4. So guess what? We got Ozuna back. Guys, I'm sorry. It's just you're playing for second place, and I think you'll get a wild card, but it is what it is. Don't get me fired up.
Man.
The Hawk.
There we go.
What's your name?
Don't let him disrespect you like that, Hawk. Don't let him do it.
Hey, man, he can try all he wants, man. Whenever you look at those walk rates of Ian Anderson in the minor leagues, you just wait until they pop back up in the majors, bud. He got lucky last year, and he's going to come back down to earth. When you're looking at Max Fried over there, the strikeout rates are not that great. So whenever you're looking at a guy that barely gets a strikeout rate or strikeout an inning in the total season, you better hope and hope and hope that that continues and carries over for this year. So we'll see how that works with your rotation. And obviously, you know, Mike Soroka, I'm glad that he's back. He's healthy, at least. That's going to be good. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Obviously, with the Mets, you always got to deal with injuries, but they've already made big strides in their health department, too. So the Wilpons just took them all with them.
Hey, let me jump in. So
yeah,
I would say this whether you're on the show or not. Jacob deGrom is my favorite pitcher in all of baseball in either league, and it's not close.
There we go.
You got deGrom, and you got everybody else. Don't give me the Verlanders before we got hurt, Scherzer, Garrett Cole for all that money. You give me deGrom, and he's the best guy in baseball. He's a badass.
Before you give me your rebuttal, your acceptance of praise from Braves Nation,
he's a badass.
You know, I agree. And one of the things we were talking about before we started the show was I was telling Mr. Brown that deGrom showed up for spring training and was already throwing 99 and like warm-ups and whatnot. And I know his velocity has gotten better each of the past like 2 or 3 years, but do you have any concern that the guy's showing up on day one of spring training and already throwing 99?
No, not at all. I remember watching Jacob deGrom in 2015 whenever or 2014 actually, whenever he came up the game against the Yankees, watching him just absolutely dominate. As soon as I saw him pitching, man, I knew that this guy had some top of the order type of stuff. And just like you said, every year over the last several years, his velocity has just continued to tick up and tick up. We're talking about a guy who's now, you know, just into his 30s. And unfortunately, he started late. There's conversations left and right that could say that he could end up making the Hall of Fame. I think he could if he gets a couple more Cy Youngs. And, you know, with Bauer taking his rumored performance supplements, we're not going to say drugs, we're going to say supplements. There was one start last year that really got deGrom out of that Cy Young race. Let's just be honest with it. I mean, it is what it is. And I agree with you 100%. I think, honestly, he is, if not the best pitcher in the league, number 2 easily.
There's no way. A lot of people
are making cases for Bieber. I like Bieber a lot, but I do think deGrom's better. And Cole, come on. I mean, he's just, I don't know. I don't like him as a Yankee.
They're all good pitchers, but I think deGrom, similarly as you kind of put, like, he kind of puts fear into your eyes a little bit when you're the opponent. Like deGrom is just, he's got the nasty stuff. And the fact he seems like he's getting better and he's just now reaching his prime, that's crazy.
As a Braves fan, watching them play 19 times a year, of course not last year, but I know if deGrom's lined up on the opposite side, our best case scenario is we're winning 2-1 if that happens. Like, you know, it's going to be low scoring. You hope to catch the one mistake he's going to throw that game. And just that is what it is. So he's a badass, like I said. But other than that, I like our chances. You can't play him. You can't pitch him every game, and that's where your downfall will be.
All right. So real quick, let me ask you, what are your prediction on the record this year? How are the Mets going to finish? Give me a total.
You know, I think between the Mets and the Braves, they're going to push it really, really hard in the division. I think that the Mets are going to probably end up getting 95 wins, and they could probably push to 100. I really think that they could. Wow. They're a very, very strong team all the way around. Bullpen, everything. Yeah.
I love your eternal.
I'll die on that hill.
Yeah. It's not out of the realm of reason. They definitely could, especially with the additions they made. I'm more of like an 85 to 90 guy looking at him.
I think the Mets could do 90 to 92.
Okay.
And I think the Braves are going to be 95 to 98.
I mean, it's going to be close, but I mean, they're both going to be really two top teams. I mean, they're going to be better than the Phillies and the Nats, right?
Oh,
don't forget the fish.
Let me tell you this, though. So we can all agree to this. The NL East is the most competitive division in sports for baseball this year, because I'm thinking that even though the Marlins made the playoffs, it's a short season. I'm thinking that between the Marlins and the Phillies, they're going to be battling for last place.
Yep. Well, I think that's a possibility. I think, honestly, the Marlins and the Nationals, which I know you guys usually ask who is the number one team that you hate in the division. It's not the Braves.
Wow.
It is the Nationals. It is the Nationals.
Why the Nationals? Why so much hate there?
So this stems back to after the 2015 season with Daniel Murphy hitting, I believe it was 4, 5, 7 home runs, I think, in the postseason there, all back to back to back. He goes and breaks the hearts of all Mets fans and goes to the Nationals. Not only does he go to the Nationals, he almost wins MVP with the Nationals as a second baseman. On top of that, man, the Mets have always just had issues with the Nationals, you know, and you being a Braves fan, I know that you've seen them upset a lot of different things. Obviously, win the World Series here just recently. My wife is actually a Phillies fan. Grew up, went to school in Philadelphia, was there during their World Series teams.
Sounds like
so. Her and I go back and forth. Yeah, exactly. We go back and forth on it, but yeah, the Nationals down with the Nationals.
Bring back the Expos.
Hey, he's approving for that, so I'm going to vouch for Mr. Brown and let you know that he wears an Expos hat to work almost every day.
No, every other day.
Every other day. That's still a lot. Yeah. That's just showing the love.
I can't hate it now, but there's no team.
Yeah, they can't hurt you.
I just like the collars, man. I sound like my wife now.
That's just my outfit.
That's it.
All right, so I appreciate all the talk on the Mets. So real quick, let's swing over to your podcast. So you've been doing a lot of coverage here over the farm systems, the prospects, and things like that. So just kind of in general, can you tell us like what teams right now have the best prospect system? Who has the best farm system? I'm a Reds fan. My farm system sucks, so I don't need you to talk about that. I appreciate the pat on the back, Mr. Brown. But tell me kind of like if you had to tell our listeners here over the next 3 to 5 years who might make a rise because of the farm system, who would it be?
Now, listen, I'm not going to break your heart. Your farm system is a little rough, but it's on the mend. And you would actually get along with one of my cohorts, Hunter Rakes, aka the Kentucky Wildcat. He's a big Cincinnati Reds fan as well. To answer your question, I think I think that the Cleveland Indians has the best farm system in all of Major League Baseball right now. Whenever you're looking at, just the amount of talent, the writers that we have over here at the Weekly Streamer, one of which is Ed Fingerhut. He did the write-up on him.
Yeah, we know Ed.
Yeah, you know Ed very well. So Ed Fingerhut did the write-up on the Cleveland Indians system. And, man, even after that trade for Lindor, we're talking about good prospects that went back there, didn't even crack his top 10. The system is just so loaded. And what we do over here is we do a 1 through 30 ranking. We do a write-up on 1 through 10, and then we go and do a podcast as well. So we try to give you guys the lowdown of what's going on with the prospects. And be able to give you a heads up there. But definitely for me, it's the Cleveland Indians.
Makes sense.
I have one question for you because we got our partner with the show, Canadian Biggie.
I was going to ask the same thing.
He's sitting back there across the pool table here, but he's a huge Mariners fan, and everything I've saw that the Mariners are in the top 3. So what can you speak to about the Mariners?
Yeah, give him some optimism here because he needs it. It's been quite a while.
Oh, he's got a lot to look forward to, man. Whenever you're talking about the Mets first overall draft pick, Mr. Jared Kelenic, he gets traded over there for old pieces and parts and Edwin Diaz, whatever. Anyway, yeah, and actually today, speaking of which, today I just dropped my top 500 dynasty rankings and prospect rankings as well. Jared Kelenic and Julio Rodriguez came in at number 1 and number 2 over Wander Franco. So for him, as a Mariners fan, he's got to be happy with that. Kelenic is absolutely amazing. Whenever you're talking about a power, speed blend, this guy's going to be an absolute stud. And Julio, the power is for days. And now that the handmade bone is a lot better, he'll be able to come back and hopefully maybe even make a spot at the major league level this year. Beyond that, man, they've got amazing pitchers. Down in my neck of the woods, George Kirby came from Elon University. He's going to be up there. I think Yeah, I think that he's going to end up being a solid SP2. Logan Gilbert, same type of deal. I think that he is very, very strong. And of course, the first round draft pick from this last year with Emerson Hancock coming out of the University of Georgia, man. He was being talked about as number 1 overall with Spencer Torkelson. So, whenever you got that kind of talent going into that system, it goes a lot deeper than that, man. But arguably, I'd say they're number 2, number 3 in all of Major League Baseball. Got to be pumped.
God, this guy knows his shit, doesn't he?
Prospect guru here.
Biggie, there's optimism for the Mariners. I know he doesn't have his headphones on, but we're letting him know that the Hawk is saying that the Mariners might actually be decent here in the next coming year.
Let's do it.
So, I don't know. That's all I got for him. You got anything you want to add?
I have one last question for you. I would like you to tell us who is going to be your division winners in each division right now.
Yeah, just go through it. And if you want to even elaborate and give us World Series,
I don't even want wild cards. I want who's taking each division.
All right, so we need 6 teams.
All right, so each division, let's take a look here. I think that in the AL East, I know that you guys were talking to a Boston Red Sox fan last episode. Toronto's going to take it, not the Yankees.
I like it.
Toronto's going to take it. The NL East, it's going to be – I think it's going to be the Braves. I think it's going to be the Braves in the NL East. Let's see. AL West.
Last year.
I'm good now.
AL West, I'm going to go with Oakland. I think Oakland still finds a way to be able to pull that
there.
off.
They're always there.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Hey, let me chime in for that, though. Like, I picked the Astros by default, but I feel like Oakland's got the better pitching, and they always hang around. So if Oakland won a division, it wouldn't surprise me. And Houston, if they win it, I feel like it's very close division right there.
I'm worried that Bregman can't hit anymore now that he's not getting, zapped every time.
Or Altuve.
If you go back and listen to my Houston episode, you'll hear me banging the trash can and doing my best Bregman impersonation.
Well, when they play the Rangers, it may not matter.
Dude, Altuve batted under 200 last year.
I know. Yeah. I picked him in like the 3rd round. He killed me in fantasy.
Yeah.
I still won in spite of it.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, arguably, the biggest upset I think that you're going to find in the NL West, okay? Because obviously everybody's already cashing the ticket for the Padres. Dodgers are going to win it.
Oh, no. Okay. We thought you were going to take the Padres there.
We're the Dodgers.
The Dodgers clearly are the team.
All right. I agree.
No, the Padres aren't going to do it. And the NL Central, you're going to have the Cardinals. They're just going to continue to do what they do. They pretty much already cashed their ticket.
That's a weak division.
Yeah, agreed. AL Central, let's see. It's a toss-up for me between the White Sox and the Twins, and I think the White Sox is going to walk away with it. They got better pitchers.
I think we pretty much agree across the board, except for the AL West is a little questionable.
Oh, and the AL East.
AL East. Oh, that's right.
Because you guys are going Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, we're just taking the obvious pick, but that's okay. That's why we bring you on the show, so you can be wrong and we can say na boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo like months later.
Exactly, man. I can come on. You guys can haze me all day.
Wow.
All right. So, hey, just to remind everybody, this was the Hawk, and he's coming to us from the Weekly Streamer Dyansty Baseball Podcast. And I'll tell you what, he eloquently kind of elaborated on some of the prospects out there. That was awesome stuff. We know he's a Mets fan. Mr. Brown, you were pretty nice to him. I appreciate your courtesy.
The fact that he kind of conceded the Braves are the better team, I'm going to take the foot off the brake.
I'm sure on our off mic, he's going to tell us if the Mets will get the wild card and beat the Braves in the playoffs, right?
Oh, I mean, that was a given.
All right, Hawk, we appreciate you coming on the show, brother. I hope we can have you on another time down the road, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.